Greetings and welcome to my archive of stories. My name is Wynn Bunbaum, and I am joined by Professor Melanie Rogers, who is ready to shed light on graphic design's uniqueness. This story is produced by Rat Things Productions. If you have a voice that needs to be heard, we've got your back. This is a student project and not a real podcast or business. Associate Professor of Art Melanie Rogers has a Master of Fine Arts from the Maryland Institute College of Art. Her work can be viewed from her website, melrogers.com. That is melrodgres.com. As an instructor at York College of Pennsylvania and enthusiast of all things graphic design, Professor Rogers is with me today to talk about what makes the art form so special. Can you tell me a little bit about what graphic design is?
How about a quote, and then I'll elaborate on that a little bit. This is a quote that actually we use at Open House when we are recruiting new graphic design students, and it's by a lady named Jessica Helfand, who's a very talented designer, critic, and writer. And this is one portion of what she says, is that graphic design is a complex combination of words and pictures, numbers and charts, photographs and illustrations that, in order to succeed, demand the clear thinking of a particularly thoughtful individual who can orchestrate these elements so that they all add up to something distinctive or useful or playful or surprising or subversive or somehow memorable. And I think Jessica nailed it. I mean,
that is such a great quote to just talk about.
It is. And you know what I love about that quote is that it concentrates on, first of all, the variety of what graphic design is. And I know that, there's some questions that you're probably going to ask about, the different aspects of it. And there are many. But what I really love about that little passage is that it highlights the human being, a particularly thoughtful individual. Mm-hmm. I don't think that means sad or pensive or moody, artist type, although it could. But I think it just means a person who's smart, observant, well educated. And I mean, after all, and you can be a graphic designer without going to college. You can. Yeah. I think it's harder.
Yeah.
But I mean, you learn things somewhere. But we try to tell incoming students or students that are interested in becoming artists that, this is a good place to learn how to be thoughtful.
Yeah, with art, it's just kind of being observant of your surroundings and then respond to it.
Right. Respond to it. You can respond to it by glorifying it, clarifying it, rejecting it.
Yeah.
Flying in the face of it. Selling it, you name it. But to get back to the human thing is the software doesn't do it. It's the person. Software does a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, it can.
And I almost feel that software and hardware are a creative. They're part of the creative media, like the actual media. So, a lot of people in our business say, "Oh, the computer is just a tool." It's just a tool. And I myself have said that. But it's a little bit more than that.
Yeah, with video making, you have the platform and it lets you explore and do different ways to create messages.
Exactly. So, and nothing else does it like video. Nothing. So it is a little bit more than a tool there.
Yeah.
Yes, thoughtfulness. And the purposes of graphic design are so broad. So I think that's what it is. And I'm happy that it is, because it's a lot of different things. And it also means that there are a lot of different kinds of people can do it.
Yeah, it's a lot of different types of styles of art, different ways to make it.
Different ways, different styles, different media, different opinions, different, and everybody likes to work different. Some people are real laid back and chill, and they kind of like to take it a little slower, which is not bad. It's bad if you have deadlines.
Yeah.
But Or you have your like ramrodding production people that are lining it all up, and you and I were just speaking about to-do lists.
Yeah, we were.
Started this interview. But there's something in it for everybody.
Yeah.
And it's never boring. Well, it can be. It can be.
I think if you're a creative person, even if it is boring, you'll find a way to like it.
I totally agree with you.
I have a lot of hobbies, like creative hobbies.
Yes.
And I have a visual communication minor, so I'm taking typography this semester.
Oh, you are?
I am.
Hey.
And
how are you liking that?
It is really interesting to learn different ways, because I used to just make like book covers and stuff.
Yeah.
And I would put like strokes on the text and stuff.
Well, you didn't know any better.
It's just interesting to learn like different platforms or different arts industrial standards.
Oh my God, yeah. No, I find it fascinating. And type. Oh my God, type is my big. I don't know. I just love it. Like some people love candy,
Yeah.
I just love type. That's my candy. And so there's a lot to learn, but I agree with you. Having a life of the mind,
Yeah.
I guess, as they call it, because anything that you build. And I'm sure in your major area, there's tedium. It's like production. Oh, I need to fine tune that. I didn't get that right. I want to take, I know I listened to Professor Schiffman's classes during my office hours. So believe it or not, I know a lot about audio editing and all that stuff. So that I know that stuff gets tedious. You want it to just be about the content.
Yeah.
And you just want to be done. Well, it's a great interview. Oh, you mean I got to get in and do all this stuff to it? And that gets boring. It's the same thing with graphic design. Oh, I got my idea out. I love the color. I picked a killer typeface, but it's not in the right color mode. And it's the wrong size. And they need an MP4 and a GIF and a TIFF. And so I got to go in and I got to make all those different file formats. And I got to print it out and I got to proofread it. And I mean, there's like all this technical stuff that goes into it. And then, of course, if you're on the job, and you have a job, which, let's be honest, guys, is, pays to have your life, your car payment and your rent and food. And, you'll be doing, in most jobs, no matter how good they are, you'll be doing, a lot of the same stuff. Most days, that's what they hired you for. Mm-hmm. Been there, done that. And it gets boring.
It does, yeah.
But it doesn't get boring getting paid.
No, it does not.
You also can do it for yourself.
Yes.
It's like self-initiated work. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a new thing, or at least the recognition that's okay to do is kind of a new thing. I mean, back, I would say maybe 15, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been as willing to talk about that as I am now, because it was like, you learn how to do this stuff so you can get a job doing it.
I think when going through school and stuff, a lot of my professors have stressed, like, you have your 6 to 8 job, but then you can do whatever is your creative outlet afterwards.
Exactly. Well, see, they got the memo too, because that's kind of where the culture has gone.
Yeah.
And I think it's largely because of technology. Because, you can, I would not be able to afford a setup like this, but I could interview somebody on my phone.
You could.
I can do a little bit.
Professor Schiffman showed us a lot of different ways this semester of getting audio that isn't with all this like equipment and stuff. And there's a lot of there's mics that you can hook up to your phone via Bluetooth.
Wow.
And I'm just like, mind blown.
Yeah, really. And I think that a lot of people in the arts have, you can take films, you can get sound, you can draw with, with your, in graphic design and illustration, the iPad is, ubiquitous now. Procreate and
Yeah, I use, I forget exactly what it's called, but when I first started getting into digital art, I used an app on my phone because my friend showed it to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I draw traditionally a lot just because I like that better.
Yeah.
But having it smaller on like a phone makes it easier to, and you can blow things up now.
Yes.
So you can like make curves and lines
And
easier.
You can do it when you're sitting at the airport waiting for somebody to get off.
Yeah.
You know, you're bored and you're like, I think I'll, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, you have all these tools, and I think, and I know Prof. Patterson in our program here at York always says, you know, you can like you kind of just said, you know, you got your 9 to 5 or your 8 to 6 or whatever, and then you can definitely have a side hustle.
You definitely could.
You can.
Hello, you're listening to Win Buttenbaum's Archive of Stories. Today I am discussing the art form of graphic design with Professor Melanie Rogers. So, Professor Patterson, because I'm in his freshman class, talks a lot about like advising and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he mentioned that you're still going to instruct illustration next semester.
I am, even though I am retiring from full time.
Why did you consider still teaching illustration? Do you see a positive trend in it?
I do. I totally do. Well, first of all, I love it. I love working with students on that stuff. Because they come in and they already know how to draw.
Yes.
And they get this look on their face at the first, you know, illustration one where I say, I'm not here to teach you how to draw. You already do that. What I'm here to teach you how to do is to do it, have it do different things, to do it in different arenas. And in illustration, there's like editorial work, there's decorative illustration, informational illustration. I mean, there are a lot of kinds we don't do. There's animated illustration for most magazines now. You know, magazines are kind of dead. You know, it's all on your phone.
Yeah.
New York Times, Washington Post. I mean, I still get the paper Times at home, but I got to be honest, we're going to cancel it because we both read the New York Times on our phone.
Yes.
My husband's sitting over there. I'm sitting here, and laying on the table is the print Times, and we don't even pick it up.
Yeah.
But illustrators do a lot of work for those things, and you have to be able to do one on paper and then do a moving version of it too. So, and a lot of illustration, all of it has to be designed. Mm-hmm. Because if you're hired by, you know, the Atlantic magazine to do some spot illustrations for an article, they'll tell you how many.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you you can't go above like 2 by 3 inches. Has to be black and white. You have specs.
Yeah.
And so you have to know how to do that designery stuff. Mm-hmm. But it is, and of course people also hire you for your style. Illustration's a hard life. It's we don't have a major in it here, but we have kind of a concentration, and we have 4 levels of it. Mm-hmm. And I love it because I like to get to know each one of the people and see what their style is or could be. Like, hey, you know, if you get that a little bit more graphic, or maybe you did a bunch of projects and go, you know, that one, remember you did that. That style is really like strong, and you ought to concentrate more, do a few more things, and develop that, because that could be marketable.
Yeah.
And a lot of, and also, because we're so digital now, illustration used to be, you know, people like painting on board, and you know, it was, and people still do analog. A lot of illustrators do analog stuff, especially like kids' books. But a boatload of it is digital now too, and it looks amazing.
It does. I went to one of the exhibitions downstairs.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, y'all are on another level. Like, I draw people in pencil, and that's all I do.
Yeah, but if you were taking classes and stuff, you know, it's a lot of work. This last graphic design exhibition that just came down, out of 10 people, 7 people were like illustration intensive. So I love, because, you know, first went to school, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I thought I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to spend the rest of my life drawing. Is what I wanted to do. And well, I guess I'll be an illustrator. I did not want to be a fine artist because I don't want to cry that much. I don't face rejection well. Well, then illustration is not the job. But so I always had a soft spot for it, and I've always been an illustration-friendly graphic designer. I'm able to do a little bit, not as much as I would like to, but. And so I ended up. There was somebody that was teaching it, and they were not coming back. And I went to Prof. Fryer, and I said, "Hey, could I pick that up?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And
there was the door.
Yeah, it was the door, and nobody's asked me to go yet, so I'll just keep coming back till they say go away. And I love to see people improve. I love to see people find their voice. I think, and here's a nice thing about illustration. I think there's something there for a fine artist, and there's something there for a graphic designer. If you're a person that wants to do paintings for a living and go around, sell your work at galleries and stuff, speak of a hard life. Oh my God. The rejection there. Not for me. But you can do illustration. And if you're a graphic designer with a day job that's, typographically oriented you can do illustration. So I like working with both.
What you find special or unique about graphic design?
I think it's special because of a lot of the reasons we were talking about earlier. It can be so many different things. It can be type, pictures, color, multi-page, single page. It can be on paper. It can be on screen. It can be a logo on the side of a freaking huge plane.
Yeah.
It can be a tiny little button. It can be anything it needs to be or that you want it to be. I love that. And it wasn't until I read an interview, I forget what designer it was, that said, I'm the kind of person, this person said about himself, I'm the kind of person who's, I think I heard that, not satisfied, never satisfied with doing just one kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I heard it said. See, I talked about it negatively, like having a short attention span, which is true. But I'm the kind of person that's not satisfied with just doing one kind of thing.
Yeah. It's nice to get your hands dirty in other types of fields and stuff.
And you want some things that are like high thinking and then menial. A mix of, and there a lot of people are like that. So I think people who feel that way are drawn to graphic design. Another thing I think that makes it so special as a profession is that it can change over the course of your life. It can change with you, and you can adapt it to your life. That's what I wanted to say. And of course, it changes itself. It changes whether you want it to or not, because culture changes and technology changes. But then also, I can change it to fit my life.
Yeah.
Like what I'm going to do right now. I never expected to get into doing this for a living, teaching other people. I went to school to go out and do this. Well, like I told you, I thought I was going to be an illustrator, and I did that for a while and found out that I couldn't stand the rejection, and it paid terribly.
Oh no!
So I stumbled into graphics, and I'm like, okay, this is good. But you can do this anywhere in the world. You can do it with 100 people, or 2 people, or yourself, and you can kind of make it fit your life.
Yeah.
And I think that is the truly special thing about it. I don't know much about other, I always use accountant as an example. And God love accountants. I have a really good one, and thank God for him.
Yeah.
But I always say, being an accountant, like, Do you like do accounting in your spare time because you love it so much?
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. But in graphic design and media, creative.
Mm-hmm.
You're done with this. You get it done. You get your production done. Okay, what can I do now? Oh, I'm going to go listen to a podcast. I'm going to go look at some art. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
It's like we just keep doing it.
Yep. I think we just love it so much, and it's just so part of our lives that...
Isn't it? It's like our food. It's like, and it's where you get more ideas and, oh, I like the way they did that. I'm going to do that sometime.
I love doing like, what would I call them? Like art studies, like choose like an artist and then study them.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I love doing those, especially with writing. Like I'll take a book that I really like and I'll be like, okay, I like this style. I'm going to test it out.
That's smart. Oh, that's so much fun. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes, thank you so much for letting me interview you.
You are so
I love
welcome.
talking about other professions and stuff.
Yeah, but I think we're kind of doing the same thing too.
Yeah.
That's neat.
So thank you so much.
Welcome.
I am Win Bunbaum. Thank you for listening to my discussion on graphic design. Join us next time for another rendition of Win Bunbaum's Archive of Stories.